All right.
Okay. All right. At this time, we'll come out of executive session, back into open session. Ready to the motion?
Make a motion to come out of executive session. I'll second it.
Been moved and seconded. We'll come out by roll call vote.
Winkle,
Yes.
Mary Ann Blackwell,
Yes.
Kirk Adams,
Yes.
Alicia McConkey,
Yes.
Derek Moore.
Yes.
All right. We are out of executive session and we will go into action item 6A. Possible action may be held from executive session regarding position of superintendent. So at this time, I'd like to open up discussion for the candidates that we interviewed and the responses that we received from the two public comments we had today.
I'll start with Issa. I feel like a lot of the comments that we got from the public, she was extremely approachable and very kind and soft-spoken. She had a lot of human quality to people. People are drawn to her. And she had a lot of insight that could be valuable to us and to help the district come together as a team.
I thought Dr. DeArmas had a good set of skills that we could utilize in our district. I think really all three candidates are excellent choices for us. I don't think we'd go wrong with any three if we were to choose.
Yeah, I love that a lot on the comment card that they love that relationships mean a lot to her, that she really liked to form lasting relationships that of trust. And I really appreciated that, seeing from a lot of the comments from teachers and other people of honesty and were important to them. And I think all three of them, I mean, like you said, all three had those great qualities. Dr. Dillon had clear view of what he wants the district in the direction to go, to really would want to come in and change and move the district.
I thought Dr. Dillon's experience, what he's done at Wilder showed through his innovation, and the changes he made out there were impressive.
I think he's very resourceful and has done a good job in bringing in outside resources. I think the community in their comments mentioned how much he had a vision and they liked what he had to say.
The staff survey talks a lot about, one of the questions is, what's your vision for the Middleton School District? And I can't even number how many times they said they just want to get back to students first, every child learning every day, the kids, focus on the kids. And there were so many of Sharon Reberry's that said she focuses on the kids. It's all about the students. It's all about the students. And I just thought that was really cool. She lacks the experience per se in that of being a prior superintendent, but when it comes down to what matters, which is the kids, that was her response. It's about the kids. It's about what's best for the kids.
I thought for her experience in the Digital Learning Academy, I think that's a way of the future. I think it's very important to understand how that interacts with the current state of education, how we reach our entire state, and even in Middleton, how we would offer some things we don't have teachers for, we don't have enough for. So I that's a creative solution going forward. I think there'll be increased funding for that, knowledge of that, along with being in the Caldwell and her experience around the state was solid. And I think growing up in Twin Falls and being a place similar to Middleton's important too.
I love that she was a team builder. She really wants to innovate, just really collaborate with team building, goals, strong organization. I think that those are positive things that she really wants to bring to our district. And
Yeah, and I thought there were many comments about community is the heart of where we're at, along with the whole child, not just the individual. And there were some very positive responses for all three candidates, but there was many positive responses to Dr. Reberry in regards to that, as well as many felt the transparency feeling when speaking with her and stuff like that, which I was very impressed with.
I love that she thought so that the heart as well as the community, but it was in the teachers. The teachers foster those relationships, and that she wanted to support that and make sure that's the number one focus. And I really appreciate that.
I like that all three candidates reference data to support their decisions and to drive instruction. But they also look at all aspects of that and what that means. They look at the big picture, and I thought that all three of them represented very well that they had a vision, but also that there needed to be purpose behind their decisions and data to support those decisions before they ask people to follow through with those, so that they have that knowledge. And I think that was good. I think Dr. DeArmas is bilingual and comes from a growing community, and I think that would also be a huge benefit to anyone. Just we have a diverse community here as well, and can maybe help resonate. And she has a strong special ed and title background, which I think that could also be a benefit for us.
Yeah.
Is there more discussion? Maybe I'd like to make a motion.
I'd like to make a motion to approve Dr. Sharon Reberry as the Middleton superintendent.
And I'll second that.
It's been moved and seconded. We'll put it, any discussion? Put it to a vote, call for the vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. At this point, we will take a short recess. And we'll be right back.
So you can call the candidates.
Joe, do you want me to tell them what we're doing? Oh, okay. So we can call the candidate and offer Dr. Reberry the position, and then we'll come back and give the answer. So.
Very good.
Use your
I have the
phone.
number. I have the
Okay.
number.
Sit in silent.
Thank everyone for staying up super late.
You could turn on the news.
Still alive, so.
Hope you're enjoying the news. So much. Yeah. Get burned. Yeah. Other than use those for like goal setting and stuff. Yeah. Yeah,
Can we keep, should we keep?
I think the evaluations we can.
Okay.
And then I really like that learning training meeting of how having feedback from the community on those, that document of how we're doing.
So we'll come out of recess now, and I actually have a little bit of a tear. She was very, very, very excited. So she couldn't say thank you enough. So, and actually she was quite speechless too. So she accepted, and so now we'll go into item 6B, select district designee to discuss position terms. And so,
Can I make a motion to do that, or?
is it a motion? Yeah.
Action.
So, yeah.
Make a motion to designate Derek to work alongside with Cheryl
And the district.
and the district.
Attorney as well.
I'll second that.
Sorry, I didn't mean, we probably need to say that again. So, because I added stuff to it, I'm
Oh,
sorry.
okay, sorry. I
Go
couldn't hear
ahead.
way too careful. I make a motion to select Derek as our designee to discuss position terms
As well
as well as Cheryl and our attorney.
all right, motion on the table. We have a second.
I'll second that.
It's been motioned and seconded. All in favor of selecting Derek, Cheryl, and our board attorney to negotiate? Say aye.
I
All right, all in favor? Motion passes.
thank you, Cheryl.
Something else you said.
We do have one other item we'd like to discuss. Mike, if you.
I said I'd discuss it for him, so
Oh.
so
Okay, we'd like to consider approval of Raptor security trial for our district. I'd like to go ahead and open it up for discussion prior to a motion, just so we have knowledge about what we're doing.
So we got a ton of information last meeting. And then Mike went back and negotiated a pilot program, and we'd have to pay $7,500 for the trial. That would be credited back to us if we purchase it. It's a 90-day trial. So my thought process on that was, he's done this work, and I would hate to try to implement something during the school year. I'd rather start it at the beginning of the school year, roll it out, and the $7,500 is going to be a trial we're going to pay at some point in time, or the price we're going to pay at some point in time. And given that tight time frame and everything he sent out, I thought for a trial, we're not doing the full-on trial, the background check. We're doing it to get into the building and organize that. So I thought he laid out a timeline. I thought it made sense to do that right now so we could roll into the school year. and get everybody used to scanning in as opposed to waiting 2 months later. And I can imagine every parent asking me why we didn't start this at the beginning of the school year and trying to switch kids up. I think it would just be too hard to start the school year without it.
So that $7,500 trial, is that for one school or is that for the whole district?
It's for,
You want me to?
Yes. please.
Yeah, well, I have a couple of questions. Yes, so please.
Thank you, Chairman and trustees. I kind of just, I want to give you these, kind of help you with some pricing. Then that was one of the questions that came across. So kind of go, Mr. Adams, to discuss that further. So what I discussed was if we did a full-on trial for basically all three products, that's the visitor, volunteer, and emergency. That would be a 90-day trial. They would allow us to do that. We'd have to just pay for the $7,500 for the training to do that, for them to do that. However, when I came back in an email, I looked at it and said, based off some concerns that we had, let's scale it down on a trial just to start with the visitor management, which costs $0 to start with. They only do a 30-day on that trial. And at that point, that would start August 10th and it would go through September 10th on that. They have a 100% retention rate on all trials they've done. They don't have one failure. I gave you a price list. You can look down through there, what we're up against from a 1 year to a 5 year. And I'll give this to her.
Didn't you say, Mike, that Vision's using this?
Vision's using it. Boise School District's using it. Coeur d'Alene School District's using it.
West
Twin
Data.
Falls School District's using it. West Data's starting to implement it.
Are they implementing the whole package, visitor, volunteer, and emergency?
Visitor?
Just visitor, if we do a 30-day, if we do a 90-day on the trial, they would do all three.
No, I'm talking about the other districts that are using it, Coeur d'Alene, Boise, and West Data.
Coeur d'Alene's full.
Okay,
Boise did visitor, and now they're into emergency in the second year.
okay,
And then Twin Falls is full.
okay.
And then talking to Mrs. Oldenkamp, she did a visitor to start with, and now she's getting into emergency.
And is that Vision? Is that what it said? Vision? So what does this look like? I mean, we have so much. I know we talked about this last month, but what does this look like at the first day? Just kind of walk me through. So I come in as a visitor.
So as a visitor, so basically what we have on the new security system is we're gonna have we have decimals. So a parent or a visitor would come in, they'd have to enter the first entry. So let's just go to a school, let's say the high school. They go in through the first set of doors at the very entry. To the right, there's gonna be a kind of a button they'll push. They'll have a camera, and that camera will initiate the secretaries. The secretaries will pop up on their screen to see who it is. They would say, okay, I'm here to see so-and-so. They say, okay, you've scanned your badge before. We had already done a background check. Or they'll say, you have not come into our building before. I need you to put your ID into the scanner, and that scanner then would go against the databases that check for sex offender and checks.
Oh, so the visitor thing does that part of it.
Yep, the visitor part does that. There's also a kiosk mode as well, so it's like another component to that side. The kiosk mode is for returning, so it doesn't create a bottleneck. So the returning basically would go in, sign, once they then hit the button, allow them in. At that point in time, they have a badge for them, they put it on and off they go. Here's the difference here. Here's a lot of schools that don't have. Some they don't have the fortunate to have a vestibule or a security that we're going to have based off the funding allocated for this full security system. A lot of times they're just going right into the building already and then they're scanning their ID. We have the ability now to ensure that no one gets into our building without first having a check. And that provides that extra layer of security. You can remove that and have them just come into the building, but you're also not going to.
Okay, so what does it look like if, I mean, just as hypothetically, I mean, somebody that's made a bad decision early in their life and now they have a record.
So only scans against the sex offender list, it scans against child custody list.
Okay,
It's only two, does not hit social security, does not go into what they've done with the vehicle violation, anything like
Gotcha.
that. It just goes into those two, and that's the
Okay.
database. I'm talking to the chiefs, those are the two main databases they look after as well.
based off what it is.
And talking to Kirk, he said that TAC was really on board with doing this.
I spoke to him before because we were talking about security and they knew about our visitor management system because I worked with him, our current one. And because the goal in the past, working with Dr. Middleton at the time, was to start small and start building to something bigger. And the bigger piece was he was at other districts that had those type of systems. And then he did mention a Raptor at one point, looking at it, and that's where I went that direction.
Have we had any feedback on negativity? Sorry.
Okay.
Negativity, I think when we come to it, I spoke to the Boise security officer there. The one negativity is going to be that ID. They had very small amount, the negativity based off how many students they have in the district. And what basically how they addressed it is based off policy. This is our policy for our school district. This is how we protect our students and protect our staff. And we take it very seriously. And that's how they rebuttal to it.
So I have a couple questions. So this one-time cost of 11,000, is that in addition to this 33,000, or does it include the 33,000?
So based off the 11,000 that comes on here, so that's just the hardware cost.
So this 5-year total cost for all hardware and 5 years of licensing, that 11,000 is part of that.
Correct.
It's not in addition to.
That's correct.
But then if we want to add the emergency, then we're going to have another 34,000 plus the
So it'd
33,000.
be a total of 63,473 over 5 years. That's including licensing, hardware, training, and support for 5 years.
So what at 5 years,
Over
what
5
happens?
At that point in time, it goes back to the yearly cost. So what that would be.
The
The
27,000.
27?
What if we started off with the visitor volunteer management system and then added the emergency?
That was my last proposal, was to start off with the visitor and move in, because obviously inundating the teachers would be hard. This is really just building that layer
Yeah.
to make sure who comes into our building. At that point, let's work with, as we come back to hopefully at that point in time with a new superintendent, we can work on getting kind of security, working with our crisis management team to get a security committee put together to help work on the next step of that.
So a pilot program's only 30 days?
That's a 30-day pilot program.
So my question is,
That's the hard
then,
part.
yeah, if we do a pilot program, by what matrix do we determine that it's
I
successful?
asked the matrix part of it, that piece of it. They're so very confident with the hardware setting out, because you can see it's $11,000. Effectively, because obviously they're having some markup there. They're setting all that hardware out that could be damaged. There's nothing nothing really, is anything that gets damaged, it's not on us, it's on them. So they're gonna push down $11,000 to make sure this thing will work on a 30-day. Their success rate is 100%. The other part, I looked at other components, other companies that have it, they don't go into depth when it comes to ID scanning. They don't go into depth when it comes to ensuring that what they're providing and what they do is successful. And so they have a very good success rate when it comes to that. And I backed it up with school districts that happen around the state, large school districts, Boise, Coeur d'Alene, Twin Falls,
So-
Twin Falls, and stuff. So absolutely.
So why the rush? Like why, we went to our training, we talked to the school boards association and the public safety officers that were there. They said they recommended that we have a security team that consists of public, parents, teachers, board members, the fire chief, the police chief, and we have goals and we have a budget and we work towards that. And we say, we have X amount of dollars right now. Is this key component going to add to our safety? Does it meet our needs? And are we going to go forward? I don't know. Like, I think this is great. And I do think it's going to be beneficial. But I guess my question is, I worry about, do we even have the stuff that we have finished now? Are we going to be able to get it all installed before school starts? And then I worry about that first day of school. I know in your mind, you're thinking, well, if we do it through the halfway of the year, that looks silly. But I am so worried about the poor secretaries at the front desk, and the parents are already frantic and frustrated the first of the year anyways. And I feel like adding that layer, I feel like it would go smoother to do it in January, to let things settle. Let's get the new door locks in. Let's practice with them. Let's make sure they work. Let's have time for the new superintendent to look at this, make sure that we're all on the same page. I feel like this just seems to me very rushed. I think it's a great idea. I definitely want to do it, but I'm afraid, what if we do the 30-day trial and then we don't have time to visit it because we're catching up on policy and doing other things, or the board changes or whatever happens. And then now we're 3 months down the road, the trial happened 30 days ago, they're wanting money. I just feel like it's a little rushed. I feel like we could take a little time and still do it and have it work and still be in the same spot. I don't feel like it's a huge security risk that if we do it now, we're losing out on anything. But I think a little breathing room into let's get what we have, make sure it works, make sure it functions, like make sure our secretaries are settled. Then let's revisit it as a group and look at it and say, okay, now we're ready. That would be my,
Well, but on the same side too, there's always something to be said for get it all done in one shot. If you're gonna have turmoil and you're gonna deal with turmoil regardless of the situation, I feel that this, yes, there's gonna be some turmoil, there's gonna be some learning and everything else, but then all of a sudden things start to go smooth and then you whip them right back after Christmas in January and you start it all over again, implementing another program.
but I think that's
And
where
you
the
have
communication
turmoil.
comes in and the education. This is, be expecting this. When you come back from Christmas, we're gonna start doing this to ensure the safety. Like, I don't think it's,
Let me ask you a question, Mike. If we did a 5-year deal of 33 grand, just on the visitor, right? If this thing goes like everyone says it goes in the other school districts and stuff like that, if we say in 12 months or 24 months, we want to add emergency, do we have to step up to a new 5-year or do they prorate it for 3 years based off this 34 grand?
I believe they'll prorate it. I mean, it's based off the funds we have now, right? So I'm looking at the funds now based off the bond funds.
Yes.
So I do believe they'll prorate it based off matching to a 5-year agreement. I would have no problem doing that. I mean, just to answer some of the questions, currently there is a visitor management system in place. They've gone through some of the headaches that currently are with the visitor management system. I'll be honest with you, that system is very weak into what it does. It was the start of the process to help the secretaries understand what the new piece is and also understand the public and also the parents understand what that process is. They're getting used to it. At first we had some, like, really you're making a sign in, but then we had a lot more overwhelming feedback that said, I understand why we're having to sign in.